Well, folks, it finally happened. The man with the most subtle foreign policy approach decided to take matters into his own tiny hands. That's right, Donald Trump, in all his wisdom, decided the best way to solve the Israeli-Palestinian conflict was to hop into a gold-plated tank and roll right through Palestine. Now, before you ask, where did he even get a tank? Just know that asking questions like that is how you end up being fired from a cannon. More on that later. Anyway, there he was, the leader of the free world, barreling through the streets of Ramallah like a toddler on a sugar rush driving a bumper car. The tank, naturally, was blasting "You Can't Always Get What You Want" by the Rolling Stones, because irony is apparently dead and buried somewhere under Trump Tower. As you can imagine, the locals were thrilled. Who needs diplomacy, treaties, or, basic human decency when you have a 70-year-old man on a power trip and a surplus of military equipment? Now, I know what you're thinking, John. Surely he didn't just drive around in a tank. What about all those buildings? And the people? Well, my friends, you're about to enter the twisted funhouse that is Trump's mind. You see, in Trump's world, every problem looks like a nail, and he's got a gold-plated hammer just itching to swing. So what did he do with all those pesky buildings? He went full Miley Cyrus on them, folks. Wrecking ball, baby. He claimed it was urban renewal, because nothing says revitalized city quite like a pile of rubble and the faint scent of diesel fuel. But wait, there's more. Remember those cannons I mentioned earlier? Well, they weren't just for show. In a move that can only be described as performance art meets international incident, Trump decided to use the tank's cannon to fire anyone he deemed not useful into the sky. Politicians he didn't like, gone. Journalists asking tough questions, see ya. That barista who misspelled his name on a latte back in 2008, well, let's just say their career in the coffee industry just went up in smoke. It was like a twisted, militarized version of his old reality show, and the whole world was watching in horrified amusement. But the real piece de resistance, the cherry on top of this geopolitical sundae of insanity, was yet to come. Trump, never one to be outdone, decided that what Palestine really needed was a giant gold statue of himself. And not just any statue, mind you, but a talking, rotating monstrosity that would put the Colossus of Rhodes to shame. This monument to ego, visible from space, was apparently designed to inspire peace and remind everyone who the real winner is. The statue, with its robotic voice that sounded suspiciously like a drunk Sean Connery, would periodically bellow out phrases like, "Make Palestine great again." I love the poorly educated, and this statue was entirely funded by Palestinian donations, believe me. Section 5, a symphony of concrete and gold. Now, you might be wondering how he managed to erect this monstrosity in such a short time. Well, it turns out that when you're the President of the United States and you have a complete disregard for international law, environmental regulations, and basic common sense, anything is possible. He had somehow managed to redirect all construction materials meant for infrastructure projects, humanitarian aid, and, well, pretty much everything else towards building his golden idol. The once humble streets of Palestine were now adorned with Trump towers, Trump casinos, and Trump golf courses, all built with the structural integrity of a house of cards in a hurricane. But the madness didn't stop there. Oh no, my friends, Trump had only just begun. In a move that would make even the most iron-fisted dictator blush, he declared that all Palestinian citizens were now required to wear "Make Palestine Great Again" hats at all times. These hats, mass-produced in China and of questionable quality, quickly became a symbol of, well, something. Oppression, surrealism, a collective fever dream from which we couldn't wake up? It was hard to say for sure. The reaction from the international community was, as you can imagine, mixed. World leaders, caught between condemnation and bewildered amusement, were at a loss for words. Some issued strongly worded statements, others just shook their heads and went back to their tea. But behind closed doors, a strange thing happened. Whispers of admiration began to circulate. He's certainly proactive, they'd say. Unconventional, but effective. It seemed that in the world of international diplomacy, where progress moved at a glacial pace, Trump's brand of chaotic, bull-in-a-china shop diplomacy was, dare they say it, refreshing. Finally, after a whirlwind tour of destruction, construction and forced hat-wearing, Trump declared victory. Mission accomplished, he tweeted from the comfort of his gold-plated golf cart back at Mar-a-Lago. Palestine is great again. Sad. And just like that, he was gone. The tank, the statue, the hats, all left behind as a testament to his unique brand of geopolitical intervention. The world breathed a collective sigh of relief, unsure whether to laugh or cry, or perhaps do a little of both. In the aftermath of Trump's peacekeeping mission, Palestine was left to pick up the pieces. The giant talking Trump statue, now a popular tourist destination, continued to blast out its bizarre pronouncements, a constant reminder of the time their country became the setting for a real-life political cartoon. And as for the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, well, let's just say it was about as resolved as ever. But hey, at least they had a great new hat to wear.